Namaste, greetings, and welcome back. I'm Dr. Naresh Bana, and today I'm going to share with you water supply issues, how PPP, the public private partnership, can play a constructive role, along with showing you and taking you on a tour of a successful public private partnership water supply project in India. Urban water supply and how PPP is a workable option.
Water 24/7 is a necessity as we need water for almost all the activities we undertake in our day to day life. Over the years, continuous water supply, especially in urban areas, has become an exception rather than a rule. Even where there are no water shortages, the distribution system is such that urban residents get intermittent water supply.
Just to set up the context, I have reviewed the water availability in 7 cities around the world. While New York City and Tokyo boast of a reliable supply with very high standards and advanced infrastructure delivering over multiple billions of gallons of water daily, the same is not the case with cities in emerging economies. While Cape Town in South Africa is facing severe water shortages and they have to implement strict water conservation measures, Mexico is also struggling with over extraction and infrastructure issues. Beijing in China is facing scarcity challenges, relying heavily on water transfer projects. Mumbai and Delhi in India are characterized by intermittent supply and high non revenue water due to leaks and thefts. Two-thirds of the world contains water, however, only 1% of which is drinkable. The Indian problem is peculiar, and I feel it is more pronounced than any other country in the world. While the urban water supply has increased by almost 15 to 20% in last 10 years, and about 77 rural households now stand covered. All that is due to the Jal Jeevan mission of the government, which is doing a good job. Over 8.8 lakh, that is almost a million schools and a million of community centers have now been connected to piped water supply. But the major challenge remains the non revenue water, which is nothing but the water lost in leakages and thefts. For instance, some cities report as much as 40 to 60% water being lost in leakages or due to thefts. All that is many times for various reasons. Now, modernizing the water distribution network is one solution, or metering, but taking care of the inefficiency and lack of maintenance of water infrastructure is most important. You would not be surprised to note that inefficient and corrupt officials many a times enjoy political patronage. In fact, many of them treat it as their fiefdom for which they can go to any extent to protect their own vested interests. Also, water supply is one of the most common freebies generously doled out by politicians before or after the elections. And many of these inefficiencies or thefts of water are happening in political patronage. If hundreds of $1 million have to be earned due to water scarcity, then why should they let it go? The public private partnership format can be of help to address the infrastructure, delivery, and managerial issues. But to get rid of thefts, a responsive law and order support is very much needed. Now, before we proceed further, let me just acquaint you how the water treatment is done.
A conventional water treatment plant of 12.5 MLD capacity has been constructed as per CPHEEO manual to treat the raw water into clear and clean potable drinking water. The treatment process is classified into aeration, flocculation, sedimentation, filtration, disinfection. On a daily basis, the quality of clear water is checked and examined with a detailed process in the own laboratory constructed in the WTP. These include examining the level of chloride, turbidity, alkalinity, hardness, dissolved oxygen, conductivity, and pH value. Moreover, a jar test is conducted, which determines the use of chemicals to be added to the clear water. Finally, pure water is collected and stored in a clear water reservoir. The clear water is pumped with the help of two numbers of horizontal split case pumps, capacity of 350 HP, to six numbers of newly constructed elevated service reservoirs and 10 existing elevated service reservoirs.
Now, when we look at any urban water supply improvement, there are primarily four stages. First and foremost, a detailed assessment study needs to be undertaken. So, those of the executive engineers who are viewing this possibly can look at it more intensely. They have to undertake water audits, leakage study, and consumer survey. And all the problem areas noticed, we need to work out an alternative study so that we appreciate what are the alternatives and we optimize the solutions. Now, thereafter, a cost benefit study is undertaken to establish whether the infrastructure to be developed will be better through the departmental process, or maybe if public private partnership is taken recourse to, will it be delivering better results? And then a detailed project report is prepared wherein every component of the work is measured and the scope frozen. And then costing is done, estimates are prepared, designs are prepared. And thereafter, if PPP has been decided to be one of the format for developing this, then a procurement could be done for that. Now, as I mentioned, let me show you a successful PPP project which is from central India, from the city of Nagpur, also called as Orange City. Basically, when Nagpur decided to go for water supply improvement, the city had a population about 2.5 million in 2011. And initially, it included operation and management of then existing distribution system and rehabilitation, and significant part of the network improvement was also included. There was also a need to replace customer connections and meters, and for smooth transition, the performance obligation of the operator began 5 years after the takeover of assets to give him enough room for doing up things. The report from users today is favorable in terms of quality and quantity. You would be happy to know that more than 20% are getting 24/7 water supply, whereas almost half the population is getting 18 to 24 hours of water supply with good quality, and others also getting more than 12 hours of water supply. This particular project is basically out of the pioneering efforts in privatizing water supply by Nagpur Municipal Corporation as early as year 2000. The water supply function in then Nagpur enjoyed a relatively higher level of autonomy as compared to other cities. And due to their strong technical capability, they took on this and they launched a pilot project which was precursor to a successful full-fledged PPP projects. Initially, they targeted 10% of the household connections and they succeeded. Now, I have been talking about 24/7. Why 24/7 water supply is preferable?
24/7 water supply is not a fashion statement, but is essential to prevent waterborne diseases. When the pipes are empty, bacteria and pollutants enter the leaking pipes. When the pipes fill up again, the water now distributed is contaminated. Therefore, the water supply pipes have to be continuously pressurized, failing which people could be affected by a number of waterborne diseases like gastroenteritis, typhoid, diarrhea, jaundice.
When we talk of structure and financing of this project, the good thing which happened was the government set up Nagpur Environmental Services Limited, a special purpose company, and all the water value chain assets were transferred to this special purpose company. And key elected officials and executives of municipal corporation were on the board of this company, and it was mandated to undertake public-private partnership. There were three companies who responded to the RFQ, and all three had famous names: Veolia, Aqualia, and Cascal, with local partners. In 2010, the RFP was issued, and see the bid criteria was operator rate in rupees per cubic meter of water billed and collected. So it had nothing to do, no relation with the tariff which user is going to pay. And the project was finally started in 2012. The another good part of this project was 70% of the project cost was provisioned through Jawaharlal Nehru Urban Renewal Mission, a funding mechanism for improvement of the infrastructure of urban local bodies in India. And 30% equity was brought in by the promoters. Project cost was almost $80 million at those conversion rates, and concession period was 25 years. It was decided that the future capital expenses will be undertaken and borne by the Nagpur Municipal Corporation. Now, there are various risks in any project, and so were in this project. However, the land risk was not there, as most of the land was already with the Nagpur Municipal Corporation. And the most important thing was social risk, which was well managed by having a pilot project and keeping the target population regularly informed and assured that the quality and quantity is going to be improved, will not be increased. Financial risk was minimized with 70% of the project cost coming from JNNURM, and revenue risk was again minimized by having an escrow account which had all the collections coming from the households or the commercial areas, and then paying for raw water, electricity, and to the operator. And the shortfall in this escrow account was met from the general budget of Nagpur Municipal Corporation. The design, construction, operation, and handover risks were assumed by the private party, that is, Orange City Water Limited, which is nothing but the special company of Veolia-Vishvaraj joint venture. Early termination, if at all would happen, was to be the responsibility of Nagpur Municipal Corporation. Now, OCWPL is, as I mentioned, is a special purpose company created by joint venture of Veolia-Vishvaraj, and their liability maximum for the thing was 5% of their annual revenue. And periodic rate revisions were there separately for the contractor in the contract, whereas the tariff revision was totally at the discretion of Nagpur Municipal Corporation. Another feature of this contract was the NMC staff working before in the water supply department had the option to be transferred to the operator, become familiar with them, and then decide if they would like to join this new company, or vice versa. The OCWPL also would judge them and their competence and decide whether to keep them or release them. There are many lessons which emerge out of this successful project. Firstly, for water supply PPP, holistic planning is required, right from water audit to social impact assessment. And we must appreciate that PPPs are not the solution to everything. They are at best to be used as strategic levers to enhance performance and fix other elements. Institutional structure on public side is important. Creation of NESL, that is Nagpur Environmental Services Limited, proved efficient and specific to manage this contract. And provisioning for tariff rebasing brings flexibility for such a long-term 25 years contract. And such long-term, politically sensitive, socially important projects need a lot of maturity. And that was duly displayed by the board of Nagpur Environment Services Limited and Nagpur Municipal Corporation. And I recommend that other municipalities would like to refer before launching their own PPPs. And I am not the only one talking about the success. Let's see what users have said.
Not only are the residents of these areas getting water 24/7, but also at high pressure. An additional benefit of continuous pressurized water supply is that people need not store water in sumps and then use electric pumps to fill their rooftop tanks. This results in them saving on electricity bills and conservation of energy.
पहले तो यहाँ ऐसा था कि दिन में एक दो तीन घंटा पानी आता था और कुछ कुछ वक्त ऐसा होता था कि फोर्स इतना कम होता था कि पानी ऊपर चढ़ता ही नहीं था। तो और दूसरी बात, कभी कभी एकदम गंदला पानी आता था, मिट्टी भरा हुआ। अभी प्रेशर बहुत ज्यादा है, इसलिए तो पानी चौथे मंजिल तक आपको चढ़ता है ना। और दूसरी बात यानी पानी अच्छा मिल रहा है। बीच बीच में जो गंदला पानी मिलता था शुरू में, अभी अच्छा पानी मिलता है, क्योंकि पाइप जो है, पाइपलाइन पूरी पानी से भरी हुई रहती है और शुद्ध पानी हमको मिल रहा है, जब चाहे तब मिल रहा है, स्टोर करने की जरूरत नहीं।
पहले 3 घंटे पानी आता था, वो सब मट्टी वगैरह मिला के आता था, गढ़ू रहता था, अच्छा नहीं रहता था। अभी जो पानी आ रहा है वो अच्छा है और फोर्स भी ज्यादा है, इसीलिए वो पानी अच्छा रहता है।
तो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का सेविंग हो गया। हमेशा पहले नीचे की टाकी भरते थे, बाद में ऊपर की टाकी भरने में रोज 1.5 से 2 घंटे तक पंप चलाना पड़ता था डेली। अभी डेली कुछ भी चलाना ही नहीं पड़ता, ऊपर पानी चढ़ जाता है, तो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी की भी बचत हो गई।
That's the media from where I've taken references. With that, we come to the end of this episode. Thank you very much for viewing. I'm sure you liked it. And if so, then do comment, subscribe, and share. Continue watching till I come back with another one. And till then, namaste. Have a nice day.